Back here at UDT at London's Excel Centre talking to Francis Mobbs of Voxmar, who are one of the leading companies in the undersea tech world, offering new products for communications networks at sea. So how does this stuff work? What's it all about?
Correct. Well, I'll take you a step back. What's the reason we're doing this? Right? We're building communications networks out at sea. You can communicate off any vessel or UK Navy frigate. It will all go via SATCOMs these days. Right? And our insight is that that's quite a high bottleneck or a layer of risk that I think needs to be made more resilient or redundant. So we're working on communication systems out at sea that don't rely on satellite networks. How we're doing it, we're using autonomous vessels that we mesh together as communications nodes to backhaul data and transmit data across long distances at sea without using satellites.
Okay, so this is part of one of the solutions being offered for the Royal Navy's Atlantic Bastion ocean surveillance system. Is that where you see this product ultimately being used?
Yeah, so I think Atlantic Bastion is great. There's a lot of tech going into the waters out there over the coming years. The one thing that all that tech has in common, though, is that when it surfaces, it comes up, and what does it get in contact with? A satellite constellation, right, to backhaul its data, get new commands. Obviously, if tensions rise, the first thing often that goes is the communications layer, right? We've seen that in Ukraine and satellite jamming, spoofing, etc. And so we see our role fitting in there, specifically of backhauling data from all these underwater systems in a different way, in a redundant new layer across the sea, back to command and control center without using satellite systems. So you have that extra layer of redundancy when things hit the fan.
Naval warfare appears to be on the cusp of a revolution. We've seen in the Ukraine, they've used unmanned boats quite successfully against the Russians. The Iranians are using this technology in the Gulf. But the bigger navies, the Royal Navy, the US Navy, they are, of course, huge bureaucracies locked into these multi-billion-pound programs to build ships, submarines, and getting traction for anything that new tech that threatens to undermine these old tech programs that have all the money seems to be a bottleneck in the naval revolution. How do you think is the way to get to nirvana without having to break down that bureaucracy?
Okay, so I think instead of fighting crimes, it's working together with crimes. It's obviously a complex road to get into a program of record or doing defense procurement. There's a lot for us to learn on the way, and I think working together with primes carefully and just feeling each other out is the way to go. They can guide us on what to think about, supply chains, etc. The other answer, I think, the solution for a small startup to get into this world is dual use. It's dual use. It's just putting all your eggs in the defense basket. You're probably not going to make that valley of death to get into.
So what are the civilian markets this tech could be used for?
So for us, it's anybody that has high value data that they place high value on, that they want to get transported to shore or outside of a jammed area. So we're looking in offshore energy as well. Obviously, they place quite a bit of high value on their redundancy in their communication systems, and also some more safety systems as well. Being the eyes and ears out at sea, listening into our radio signals, backhauling that data back to shore.
So if the admirals in the Admiralty, Navy Command in Portsmouth, suddenly have that light bulb moment and say, we need new tech from these guys at Voxmar, how quickly could you get it into action, get it out to sea working for the Royal Navy?
So, when I get that call, right now it's going to be a scramble, obviously. I'd love to be getting that call quite soon, and so we're planning how we're going to scale. we need to create hundreds of these vessels to make large, long-scale connections. So every step of the design process, we think, how are we going to be able to manufacture this quickly, easily, and cheaply? And obviously, we look around the area that we're based in Cornwall. What's the talent pool? How can we attract that when we get that?
And this is British tech, British owned, which will create British jobs.
Correct. Yes. And so again, every engineering decision that we make, whether it be which chipset we use, what kind of systems we have on board, we think about our supply chain already as a defence contractor, trying to keep that as sovereign as possible.
Britain has a great reputation for inventing superb tech, whether it's the Dam Busters, Barnes Wallis, the Spitfire, the Harrier jump jet, but we have a reputation for not being able to industrialize and sell our technology. I mean, is that changing now with the new environment?
I think so. I think there's acknowledgement that startups can use capital often more efficiently than maybe a prime contractor that's working on a cost plus contract. It's kind of the old world. Whereas we have to be scrappy, lean and mean with how we put our cash to work. So I think governments and nations are cottoning onto that. I think that allows us to get more exposure and prove that this is the way to go.
So when you get the call from the Admiralty, let us know and we'll come and talk to you and see the revolution in action.
Brilliant.